All right, y'all, it's Seth and I'm here at America's favorite outdoor store to stock up on camping supplies. Yeah, or something like that. Let's check it out. Anyway, I did get some stuff. I'm going to bring it home, open it up, and I'm going to show you what the quality and aesthetics and all the other fun stuff looks like. Is it worth buying some camping gear at Aldi? Is it really camping gear? Is it just kind of stuff? I don't know. We'll figure it out together, and I'll tell you what my total cost was too. So let's go home and play. All right, I've got to be honest. So far, I am already digging this. This right here is the tent organizer. There are 9 pockets in here. 8 mesh, and then this little guy right down here that you could throw like your car keys or something in, which actually, this whole thing folds back into that. There's no carry case or anything. It's all self-contained. It has these straps that come off on each of the corners with these little guys. If you've not seen them, you basically pull that right there, clip it into your tent, your whatever, and then just kind of fold it right back over and it'll grip for you. It's pretty sweet for $7. I could see this in the tent holding your socks, your clothes, your gear. If you're like me, you've got backup batteries, cameras, tripods, things like that when you go camping. Or even put this by like the screen house, or if you've got one of those kind of canopy style tents that everybody sits under, you can hang this there. Kitchen gear, your camp kitchen. So there's a lot that can go in this thing for $6.99. Organization, I don't think you can beat it. We're gonna, of course, bring that out with me the next time I go camping and see if it survives the night. And if it does, then that's a winner for me. All right, next up we have our dry bags. Now, I've got to be honest here. This is kind of a thick, rubbery material. Now, they are dry bags. They are supposed to be waterproof. I've got a few of these that are kind of thinner and higher quality. These feel like life jackets, kind of. But you do get 2 of them right there, a 5 liter and a 2.5 liter. And I'll use this smaller one as the demonstration. But you can kind of see, maybe. You can definitely hear that fabric. It sounds like we're taking the cover off a boat or something. But anyway, they're not bad. They're not the most flexible things I've ever seen. They make great hand puppets when you're standing out there and you're just bored. But on top of that, it's a pretty solid setup here. As you know, with the dry bags, you just kind of roll them down until they're empty and then hook them just like that. It didn't click, but it is a solid clasp. I mean, that's not coming out with some pressure. It does have this tiny little clip on there. I'm not sure I would exactly trust, like I wouldn't use this as a bear bag. I would probably not feel comfortable hanging it in a tree, and it might be good, I don't know. But based on the plastic aspects of this, it feels a little cheaply made, which again, for $6.99 for 2 of these, not a bad idea. But again, if you've got stuff that you need to keep dry at camp or keep separated in your packs, $7, backpacker on a budget, not a terrible way to go. These will come out with me next time I camp too, and we'll run them through the actual real life test. And next up in the haul is the lantern set. And I was actually just gonna show you one of these because there's 2 in the set, but they're different. I thought it was going to be 2 of the exact same things because honestly, I wasn't paying attention. They were like, I think $9.99. I did not scan the tag, but I think these were $9.99, and I grabbed them and ran the hell out of Aldi because that is not a place for a middle-aged man. But anyway, so great little lanterns. They did come with batteries, 6 AA's, 3 apiece. And we have first, this one's kind of sweet. It's got magnets on it. I already hooked it to the side of my truck and it actually did stick. So that's nice. Handles, and it pops right up and open. Oh, that's the lighting I probably should have been using from the very beginning. Am I right? Am I wrong? There's no buttons here. It just comes on when you open it. It's an LED light. That's decently bright enough for a camping trip. I don't see a dimmer or anything on it. I'm discovering these with you as I'm talking about them. I did not play with anything ahead of time. I don't particularly see a dimmer or anything. It does have this where you can hang it, and then for some reason there's an extra little hook there too to hang it if you want to, I don't know, hang it from either end, whatever works for you. But it's not bad. Again, for the price, even if you're not camping with it, it's something to just keep hanging around your house maybe in case of those power outages. I don't know. And then here's the second one that came with it. It's got like a little strappy handle on the side for some reason. I don't know. You can, oh, here we go. We can flashlight it. And I'm sure there's a button on this one right there by the handle. Okay, that turns on. Okay, that turns on that. Another lantern style. And that turns that off. And then we have flashlight. So, not terrible. I mean, kind of cheaply made. It's just very, very thin plastic, but LED lights. I'm sure they'll run for a while, and if nothing else, I'll just enhance my lighting here with them for the rest of this. Does that do anything at all? I think it does. This looks better, doesn't it? Probably should have done that from the beginning. Yeah, I know. Okay, lastly, we're going to check out the camp fan. So in a matter of seconds, it's just going to magically show up in my hands. Did you see that transition? Oh man, solid gold, right? Anyway, lastly is the $14.99 camp fan. First things I notice, it's a little chunky. It's kind of a thick piece of plastic here. It does have that, so you can like lean it up on the floor of your tent or your picnic table or whatever. But it also has, coming off of that, there's a hook right there, so you can hang it up. First things we've got to check out the back. USB-C. It did come with a USB to USB-C charging cable. Yes, no batteries on this. Just plug it in and take it with you. And then there's an on-off button, which doesn't really do much of anything because there's also buttons here for everything. So let's, I'm not looking at, okay, that's the light. We've got 3 different modes, 3 different brightnesses. That's not bad. And then let's check out the fan. And I will tell you right now, this fan is foam. These are little foam blades. It might be quieter than plastic, but let's see how it cools. And I would assume we have maybe 2 to 3 settings on here too. Oh, see, you see that? I got my fingers in there. This is kid safe. Look at that. I'm a big dumb kid, and my fingers get in there, and it's fine. We're not cutting fingers off, which is nice. Something I will say is it's too thick for plastic, for foam blades here. If I'm not risking my limbs by doing this, then do we really need all this protective housing? But it's quiet in that mode. Here, I'll get right up next to you. You can probably still hear me, I hope. If not, this is probably going to be a silly fan review. A little faster. Okay, so at least 3 settings. I'm assuming that's low, medium, high. I'm hoping you can hear me still. Okay, now, this is a great light. I won't complain about that, and you can see everything is kind of labeled here. Light. The light's nice, isn't it? The fan. If you like sleeping with a little bit of white noise, maybe it's not a bad idea. But right now, I'm like less than a foot from my face. I barely feel this thing. That's a shame. It's not really moving a whole lot of air. That's a real bummer. So, It looks decent. It's sharp. You can hang it on your fingers. Oh, that comes all the way out, so you could even hang it like a ceiling light. I'm not going to call it a fan anymore. Disappointing as a fan goes. Hopefully you could hear everything I was saying. Anyway, and I imagine you probably could, because it is relatively quiet, because particularly it relatively doesn't do what you want a fan to do. Not a whole lot of wind moving off of that thing. And that is really, really unfortunate. And that was my biggest fear when I first saw the foam blades. Yeah, we're not losing fingers, but we're also not losing heat. That's not going to cool anyone down. That's a bummer. If you need some air movement or that white noise, like just a tiny bit of movement, like something half of what a breeze coming through your tent might do, maybe. But that's a white noise machine. Let's call it what it is. It's a light, and if you need a little bit of noise in the background when you sleep at night, if the possums and the raccoons digging outside your tent creep you out, it'll make enough noise where it's not so quiet that you wonder if there's an axe murderer outside your tent. But it's not a fan. Do not care for that at all. I would not recommend it unless you want the light and the noise. And speaking of light noise, I'm Light Noise, and I'm getting out of here. Thank you so much for checking out my Aldi camp finds. Some of these are coming out in the woods with me this summer. We'll see how that works out in the field or woods. And until we see each other again, thank you so much for watching, and happy trails.